So let's party with set 10312, the Jazz Club. Now, this modular building was one of the two at the Boutique Hotel, also retiring at the end of 2025. And for us, it unfortunately just got a little bit lost with all the other releases, where the two modular buildings after, the Museum and Tudor Corner, were just something extra special. And we forgot a bit about this one to get it, but we luckily managed to pick it up just before it retired. Now, this one isn't a bad building nonetheless. It's got a really cool concept, being a jazz club, with your different levels here for all your musical needs. And then next door, you've got the pizzeria as well. Now, as you can see, this one actually fits in nicely with the other two buildings that came just before it. And I think it's one of the more unique concepts to add to your modular building line. So let's quickly put this one together and take a look at all the detailed levels. So the outside of the Jazz Club has a really funky vibe to it. And you can see they use the three primary colors for the front of it, just in different shades, with being your blue, red, and yellow. And it creates something really awesome. Now, you'll see with the architecture here specifically, the book even mentions it, that a lot of this stuff is built at a 45-degree angle. So the first one that you'll actually see here is your front entranceway. Now, the stand on top of it is a separate build that you can also take off. And then just looking at the rest of the set, the pizzeria on the one side is very distinct to the Jazz Club. It's got the whole setup to make it look very inviting, and you know that side is a restaurant. Where on this side, it's got that old sort of classic looking architecture set up like the, I'd say, probably 70s, 80s, just to invite you in to come for a night at the club itself. Just going a bit closer, you've got your ticket booth set up there with a really cool printed piece for a concert that's happening that night. Then the pieces above that is also printed, as well as your sign for the Jazz Club. Now, the windows use this really cool sort of almost stained glass technique where you're just using one by ones, but just differentiating it, it just gives it a really nice feel. And then it's got a little bit of structure to the top here, and just some interesting pieces to make it feel like an old building. And then in the far back, you've got the squirrel, who apparently steals all the pizza. On the pizzeria side, you've got this table set up. Then you've got a trellis here with some plants growing up. And then you've got sort of the colors there to indicate this is the pizzeria. There is also a tailor shop just above that, which the sign is for. And then you've got some lavender plants. And at the very top, there is actually a little garden where the chef grows his own vegetables to use in the pizzeria. So taking it level by level, on the one side here, you've got a staircase leading up. And then for your jazz club itself, it's got a few seating areas there for your guests. And then your main stage, which has a curtain, lights, and you've got the drum kit set up there, as well as the saxophone. Moving on to the pizzeria, you've got a pizza up on the counter, and one of the really fun builds was this pizza oven setup. It's really nice how it also goes all the way to the top, and then you've just got some other food items that you can add to your pizza. So the only piece around the back to really show is this storage place for more firewood for the pizzeria. Now these can open, and then that gives you the indication of wood inside. Now, up on the next level is where that 45-degree angle comes in again, with this hole here, so the manager can also keep an eye on the performance down below, as well as this funky table that she has. So obviously this is her office. You've got a gramophone there in the back, a little bit of a piece of art, and a very interesting telephone build there. In the middle, the rest of the staircase leads up, and you've also got a door opening up on the balcony and then going to each of the two sides. And then on this side, you can see that pizza oven continues up to the top, but you've got the tailor shop here with some of the material that he uses, one of the stands to put it on, and on this side, you've got the sewing machine. Now, I just wanted to show a close-up of that because it is actually a really cool design there. So the roof side for your pizzeria, as I mentioned before, is that garden. It's also got this really funky bolt which uses these door pieces that you can actually open up, just if you want to take out some of the vegetables. And then you've just got a few plants growing in there. Also, I really like the design there for the tomato plant, which is that piece that got introduced with the fresh vegetables truck from City a few years ago. So the last floor above the Jazz Club, you've just got the rest of the stairs leading up to this area, which is the dressing room for your performers. Now you've got this nice piece of art on the wall here, which comes from the art gallery with the Boutique Hotel. Also this funky couch, which just reminds me of Wolverine with that color scheme. And then on the opposite side, you've got the dressing room table. Now that is not one of the mirror pieces they've used before, but it is that sort of flat silvery finish, just a tile from that. And then just to show, I really like this design for the windowsill here, which is a piece that's come from Lego's catalog way back in the 70s. I think they mentioned in the book, which is that 1x2 with the 2 handlebars on the side. Just a really cool design piece. And then just to show off the roof better, this one can obviously open, and this is where you come up from the last bit of stairs. And then there's our pizza eating squirrel. Now taking a look at your minifigures, first up is your pizza delivery guy, and he's got the same color scheme going on as the awning above the pizzeria. Then you've got the tailor, a really cool suit print, and your chef. Now these minifigures I believe have come before in City sets, and maybe some of the older modular ones. The face prints don't really look that new to me. And then you've just got a little bit of printing going on at the back, with no dual-sided face prints for any of these characters. Just with the pizza delivery guy, he also comes with a helmet, and then his pizza delivery bike. Next you've got the manager for the Jazz Club and also the magician. Now the manager has some really interesting clothing choices there, but your magician has a really cool suit piece there, and then turning them around, you've got a little bit of a printing going on at the back, but they also don't come with dual-sided face prints. And the magician also has a few accessories. Firstly, you've got the bunny, you've got the hat to pull it out from, which is currently occupied by flowers that have been pulled out. And then as well as, which I believe is supposed to be those long cloths that connect together. And then your best minifigures from the set, you've got the main leading singer, as well as her band members, the drummer and the bass player. Now the detailing on their prints are really cool. And I like all the gold detailing for the singer and the silver for the band members. Just looks really, really crisp on these minifigures. At the back, you can see that printing does continue, and this is the only minifigure here that does come with a dual-sided face print. Now, on the bass player, you saw this neck attachment, and that is actually for his bass's case, which is brick-built. That's really nice, and it just attaches to the back here. Even though it does look big and clunky, it actually does stand quite sturdy when you put him down. So the LEGO Jazz Club is another awesome addition to the LEGO modular lineup. I think in the last 6 to 7 years, LEGO have really found their groove with these buildings and just given us something awesome. Everything from the architecture to the trimmings, each of the different levels, it's just something special and unique every time. I think we always look forward to seeing what's next. Now, with this one, unfortunately, I think the weakest part just is your minifigure lineup here. Besides the band members, there's nothing really to write home about, and it's faces and prints we've gotten throughout City and BAM as well. Now, as I mentioned before, this set did retire at the end of 2025, so I think if you really want it, now is the best time to go and find those specials, last stock available. But after that, the price is just going to double increase because that's what happens to the modular range. But overall, I think this just is a great addition. It's a different kind of building, unique with being a jazz club. And if you're collecting the modulars, you definitely want to add this to your lineup. But that's just my thoughts. Comment below if you think this one is a worthy inclusion. And like and subscribe if you're enjoying the reviews. And then we'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.